I currently work as the middle school minister for Our Lady of Mount Carmel, and I love working with them because they're all over the place and unpredictable. And I did the Strengths Finder that OLMC did a couple years ago, and my number one strength is adaptability. And adaptability in middle school kids is kind of like a perfect fit for each other because they can throw anything at you from anywhere, and you just kind of got to be on your toes and be ready for anything. And so I love doing that. I love having to be on my toes all the time. I moved to San Diego when I was 2 years old. So I've been here for the most part all my life. Moved away for college for 4 years, worked in Washington, D.C. for half a year or so. That wasn't right for me. Moved to LA, lived there for a little bit, and LA is, I'll be nice, not San Diego. And so I moved back to San Diego, and so that's kind of, I can see myself living here for a long time. I was definitely, I thought I was gonna be a lawyer. After a lawyer, I was like, I'm gonna be in the world of politics after college, and I still do care about that stuff. I just see the role for politics in a different realm. I think politics is, the reason I changed my jobs over to youth ministries because I realized the real battle is with the hearts and minds of the people, and then politics will follow after that, right? And so that's where I saw that the real battle needed to be fought. And politics, yes, is a battleground that can help, but I think it's kind of the last breath, if you will, right? And if we've done everything to prepare, our flock beforehand, then we'll be fine when it comes to politics. So politics kind of became less important to me as I worked there. Before Father Anthony, I knew Father Prozik, and Father Prozik and Father Anthony know each other. And so I heard good things about him. We live nearby. And so this parish really had a mission from Father Anthony that really had direction, and we found we wanted to get behind. And so my parents volunteered here, and like I said, when I returned from college, I was like, I'm always gonna have my foot in ministry, so I volunteered where I could. And so that happened to be the middle school ministry, and that was in 2016 or 17, so. This is an interesting question because I guess my parents were Catholic in culture. My mom's Peruvian, South America. My dad's Italian from the Midwest. And so I went to Catholic school. We would go to Mass, but we weren't really kind of religiously Catholic. I would say it's mostly culturally Catholic. And around the time I was in middle school, my mom started and my parents started to go to church shopping. So I remember there would be some weeks where we would go to a Protestant service and a Catholic Mass on Sunday, and it was actually kind of nice. It was we would wake up, go to Catholic Mass, and we'd go to a Protestant service, and then we'd go to a Marie Callender's brunch. So we were continuing church shopping because we felt like there was something, we were looking for, as you do when you're church shopping. They're there's something more, and we finally found that with Scott Hahn and Jeff Cavins, who are kind of these Catholic apologists, and they have some good books out there. Scott Hahn has Rome Sweet Home, and I remember my mom read that, and she forced the rest of the family to read it. And I was in high school, I was like, oh, I have to read a book. But then it was actually very interesting, and so I actually kind of read the whole book, and we kind of read it together as a family chapter by chapter, and we talked about it and had our own mini book club. And honestly, that book, Rome Sweet Home by Scott Hahn, probably had the most impact on me and my family, and that's kind of what made us go from kind of cultural Catholics, cultural cradle Catholics, to very active and ardent Catholics that only went to Catholic masses. But I'm still appreciative for the journey that I went and kind of went with my parents, and they took me through. So I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the Catholic faith through that journey, and so I'm glad that I went through it. So I've been involved with ministry since a very young age. Even as young as high school, 14, 15. I started off as a part of my core team. I remember volunteering for the elementary school for the VBSs when I was younger. I went to Cathedral Catholic High School, and I was part of the campus ministry team there. I was a core team for St. Gregory the Great, Catholic Church just down the street, and so I was on the youth core team for that after my confirmation program. When I was in college, I volunteered as I helped out with youth ministry, and so I've always been drawn towards teaching, towards kind of mentoring and trying to deal with youths that are trying to get through their youthfulness, and so I've always been drawn even from a young age from there, and even after college I would volunteer here at OLMC, and that's kind of how I was introduced to Our Lady of Mount Carmel, was when I was volunteering here. And so youth ministry has always kind of been a part of my life, whether it has been my job or not my job. I think it'll always be a part of my life. The one individual that stands out for me is Jason Everett. I probably have seen him speak like 7 or 8 times, and like 4 of them have been the same talk, his Romance Without Regret talk. He helped me out with my Eagle project, where I actually brought Jason Everett to not just Catholics but Protestants as well, and I kind of did this co-op between Catholics and Protestants where they all got to watch Jason Everett together, and he was fantastic, as he always is. So I was really happy to him about that. And I remember when I first approached him, he spoke at Cathedral, and I stood in line for like 3 hours, and I was like, let everyone else that has real world problems, because they wanted to talk to him first, so I kind of let everyone go ahead, and I talked to him last because I was like talking business, like, hey, I have this idea for an Eagle project, will you help me out? And he was super into it. He was an Eagle Scout, so he was like, yes, I'll help you with your Eagle project. And 9 months later, we kind of had the project off and running. So Jason Everett, yeah, definitely a big influence on me as far as like a speaker and someone that's influential to young kids everywhere. I always pray for the invocation of St. Thomas Aquinas, because I don't know, he died young, but he did so much with his life, and he was very intelligent and was just kind of focused on learning what God had in store for him. But the saint that I would say had the biggest impact on me was Saint Sir Thomas More. This obviously was back when I was interested in being a lawyer / in politics, and it was kind of like, well, lawyers are always kind of put into this, like, they're all bad, and politicians are all kind of conniving, evil people. And so you had this great exemplar saint, Saint Sir Thomas More, who was not only a devoted Catholic to the Lord, who ended up giving his life as a martyr, but he was also an influential person of the world that had respect and power. And so he knew how to draw that line between, like, I'm doing my job, I'm good at my job, and I have influence and power, but I also know where to draw the line, because there are some things that I will put my foot down and I will never waver on. And so he was always the model for me. I love awakening in kids kind of their desire to know what is really important. Why am I here? Who is God? Why is there evil in the world? These sorts of questions. And I love awakening them earlier, because in a sense, like, I wish that I was able to talk, because I got all this information from Catholic Answers when I was young, but I didn't really have anyone to talk to with about it. And so I really enjoy seeing these different kids that are kind of learning about this stuff that matter, and then seeing them talk to each other about it. And so that's kind of the greatest joy, is seeing them have like-minded peers to talk about the faith with. I would say rereading and rewatching, although I've also been perusing all of like Amazon Prime's library, and the Jack Ryan series was pretty good. I liked that one. Vinland Saga was pretty, it's a tragedy, it was pretty heart-wrenching rather. And I'm rewatching House. I think that's at least earlier seasons, a show that really deals with difficult topics, and so that's why I like watching House. I love refereeing. I'm a soccer referee. Not much soccer refereeing going on now with all of the shutdown, so I'm a little sad about that. But that is something that I would definitely do even if I weren't getting paid. It's nice that I am getting paid. I just love having to manage 22 different minds that are, for the most part, all opposing each other, and you're just trying to do your best to keep the peace, keep the order, keep the calm, and let it, I don't know, it's just, again, it appeals to the adaptability in me. Just like anything can happen at any times. I have to make a decision quick. It helps me keep in shape, and because I have to run a lot, and it's just very physically and mentally stimulating, so that's why I like doing it. My living room? I'm not much one for travel. You know, I'm kind of like, I definitely like the comfort, you know, that's why I rewatch shows rather than discover new ones for the most part, because I do like comfort. One of the coolest places I've been to though has been Machu Picchu. So I gotta give it to, I guess, to one of the 7 wonders of the world. It's in Peru. My family's from Peru, so I did get to visit that with them once before, and that was all right. Machu Picchu was kind of cool. I just wish it was at a less high elevation because I always get elevation sickness up there. My dining room, no. I think Colorado is really beautiful, and that would be definitely a place that I would like to live. I love the mountains. I love the seasons. I like the snow in moderate amounts. It's very beautiful during the summer, and I don't like hot or humidity. And just kind of like up there in the mountains with the clean, fresh air, with the water, with the trees. Yeah, and that's why I would like Colorado.